Hey, how are you? It's Pam Pryor, your first CFO, welcoming you back to Forecast Week. We're covering the why and the very easy how, some tips and tricks for entrepreneurs, no matter what condition your books are in, how to do a forecast for this year so that you can at least predict and hopefully minimize any nasty tax impact next year. But we are making this bite-sized chunks, and we are making this very easy for an entrepreneur, whether you are just starting out, whether you're a $1 million business, a $10 million business, or a $1 billion business. Because in any event, regardless of what stage of business you're in, every CFO I know, every CEO I know, has worked this way to verify that any of the detailed and yucky work they do on a forecast is correct or legitimate. So this is an exercise that you want to be able to do, whether now as a beginning entrepreneur or as an early stage entrepreneur, because when you get to be bigger and you have people doing all this stuff for you, you're going to still want to do the sanity checks on it. So let's just recap really quickly what we've talked about this week. First of all, a good reason to do a forecast for your business is to try and prepare for and minimize the impact of taxes for this year. So this is a great time to be talking about a forecast. You may see my dogs come flying down the stairs back there at some point. They seem to be on a bit of a rumble here. But the second point is that the second piece we've covered, I'm sorry, I got distracted by the dogs. The second piece we've covered is the how. And we talked about revenue yesterday. And when we talked about revenue, I sent you home with an exercise. And that exercise, very simply, was to go find out one way or another, add it up from PayPal, add it up from a spreadsheet, count the checks that you've deposited, or go get your bank statements and look at the deposits. But however you do it, just find out how much cash you've collected from customers in the first 9 months. So that was yesterday's exercise. And what I said was what you do with that to get a forecast for the year. And we made an assumption. Our example company, we said, okay, we had $90,000 of cash receipts from our customers. We did that in 9 months. So the average has been $10,000 a month. So if we just think about it, and we're going to make $10,000 each in October, November, and December, all year we're going to make $120,000. It's that simple math. That's sort of the sanity check. But what we covered yesterday, too, is that can get complicated because all sorts of things have an impact on that. So here's where, as an entrepreneur, you just take 10 or 15 minutes, no more than that, and think logically about your business. And the things I'd tell you to think about, okay, as you're evaluating this. And what you're really trying to decide here is, what is my revenue going to be for the next 3 months? How much cash am I going to collect from my customers in the next 3 months? And so there are 3 things I want you to think about as you go into your thought process here on your forecast. So you know you made $90,000 so far through September. The first question is, are you taking any time off in the next 3 months that's going to affect how much you make? So let's just assume that you plan to take off 2 weeks in November and 2 weeks in December for the holidays. And as a result of that, you know, okay, and let's pretend for now your business depends on you and your time in the business. So we know right away that, okay, I'm not going to say that I'm going to get $10,000 each in October, November, and December. I'll get $10,000 in October, but I'm only going to get $5,000 each in November and December. Then you add it all up, and your total comes out to $110,000. $90,000 so far, plus $10,000 in October, 5 each in November and December. See what I'm saying there? You're really just trying to say, okay, step back and say, is there anything about my business that's going to change because of me and my time? Now, if you're a recurring revenue type business, you may not have as much of an issue, but if you're a coach of any kind and you're getting paid by the hour, or to run a group and you don't have a membership type fee, or if you're not going to be signing on new members, that's when you really need to look at this and see what kind of impacts it's going to have. So that's easy tip number 1 about how to think about your revenue once you've figured out how much you've made so far through September. So 3 things. Why are we doing this? Because of our taxes. What's the first thing we're going to do? Find out how much cash we've collected through September. All those tools covered in yesterday's video. And then the third thing is, we're just going to look at the last 3 months and see if there's anything about your own behavior and what you're planning to do that's going to change what will be collected in the next 3 months. Add that all up, and you're going to have yourself a forecast for the year for revenue. Tomorrow I'll talk about a couple more little quirks that can help sort of drive your decision process around this. But I wanted to make sure this was digestible and in easy bites and that you could kind of watch it in sequence, because that way you won't be scared of it. And what I will tell you is if you're a small business or just starting out, and say you don't have all the systems in place and all the bookkeepers and accountants in the world doing this for you, this is still an exercise that every CEO I know in companies all the way up to $1 billion companies are doing in their own heads. They're gathering their data from different places, but in their heads, this is how they're making sure that they understand what their total year revenue is going to be. So have a great day. Go do that 15-minute exercise. Just think for a minute about what you might be doing with your own time in the next 3 months that could affect your revenue. Take care. Make sure, please, to download a copy of the book, Your First CFO. All of this is outlined in there in a lot more detail. And listen to the Cash Flow podcast on iTunes. Look it up under Pam Pryor, and be sure to subscribe, leave comments, and leave a 5-star review if you like it. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.